All right. We
It's
are
live?
yeah, we're live. Live
Oh,
with all right, rest in peace, Brett Dier here, who played Michael on Jane the Virgin. So I recently chatted with your pal Gina,
hmm.
and she in our chat she said one of her big things she said was that Brett deserves a freaking Emmy. That was her quote. And I think she's absolutely right. I mean, what you created with Michael had such an impact that fans are still today upset, tweeting, wondering if it was all a ruse and Michael will come back. I mean, that's got to be, I mean, it's a testament to you and what you created in Michael. But as an actor, having that kind of impact must be kind of the ultimate prize, I would imagine.
I first of all, that's super sweet of Gina to say, and for you to say. I feel like, yeah, Michael was written really well too, so it was easier to do. I didn't have to like try and make things up and like try to make things work because the arc was really written clearly for me, and I felt like, well, just especially these last 10 episodes that Jenny wrote. She wrote some stuff for me, like the stand-up comedy thing that Michael did, which was really fun to play. And yeah, because I feel like after Michael got shot at the end of season 2, I had an idea of like, okay, after you go through a life experience like that, like I feel like you would just want to live your life to the most, you know what I mean? So I feel like I got to bring a lot of that kind of life that I was really excited to bring to Michael. And that, I think that's what really made it, I don't know, and it was written like that too, so I think it made it more powerful for people to miss him because they saw this happiness and life in the guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and I mean specifically at the beginning of the season. I mean those first 9 episodes where you had recovered from the gunshot wound. Jenny and you guys and the writers kind of lulled us to sleep, thinking, "All right, everything's okay with Michael." And then episode 10 comes, and that's when you succumb to the gunshot wound.
yeah.
I mean, but on your end, as an actor, is it? I would imagine, or I could only imagine that it would be difficult knowing what you already knew and having to do each of those episodes as if you were just happy, joyous Michael. I mean, does it have any kind of an impact on you on the performance you're giving when you're in that situation?
Yeah, it actually did. I feel like because I played Michael for 3 years, and it was like 9 months of my life being in this guy's shoes and living his life and imagining what he would do and stuff like that. That he became kind of a weird part of me. Like it was like almost became he was like a friend of mine. So knowing that a friend of mine was gonna die, I really wanted to like make the moments true. Like, you know what I mean? It inspired me. I had this like deep inspiration where it's just like I want these moments to be true. Like I really want to just fully commit even more to this guy and make it special. And it's like especially when I had to do the death scene where I had to fall into the ground. I After that scene I cried because I was like, wow, like this is really happening. Like this is it. This is the scene where he's dropping dead. Like it was really hard for some reason, and it was weird because it's just it's just a character, it's just acting, but it had some kind of a weird effect on me. And yeah, it was emotional too because I knew I was going to leave everybody too, so I kind of brought all that stuff to it. And yeah, it was weird, interesting experience.
Well, on kind of that. So how? I mean, we could say, you kind of embodied the character of Michael after you created him. So you letting go of the character, how did you, as Brett? I mean, are you still over Michael being gone, or is he still a part of you? Like, is it hard to shake him off after playing him for so long?
I feel Um, yeah, I think I'm okay now. It was a weird shake off for a little bit. Like the first couple months of being done with the character, I was just kind of like, really, how is he done? And then people would tag me in like fan art photos of like Michael being all happy, and like I was like, oh no, I can't look at this right now. But yeah, and then the interactions on the street, like for the first couple months, was really hard because people would come up to me and like be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's dead," and like I'd be like, "Yeah, I know, right?" It's crazy because I was going through it too while other people were coming up, and it was just, yeah, it was a super, yeah, it was a weird transition, and And also on like a personal side, it was like a weird transition to not be working consistently because I was used to that for 3 years, right? So it was just like the work stopped and I was like, wow, okay, there's that too. So it was an interesting adjustment period for me in my life, but I'm okay now.
Well, well, that's
Yeah.
good. Well, the work also, a big part of it, as we brought up just a little bit ago, was with Gina and your guys' on-screen chemistry that you guys had together. And I mean, Jane and Michael have been on more like, fan TV couple favorites publications and than we can count. Was it difficult? I mean, Gina had mentioned that it took her a while to kind of shake off having worked with you because you guys are so close and your chemistry was so great. Was it also difficult leaving Michael because of that reason that you didn't have a scene partner to share,
Yeah.
with all the time?
Yeah, that was another one too. Like I really loved working with Gina, and she's such a like a present actor. Like there was no fear of failing, and I feel like we kind of had that like relationship from the beginning, and it just kind of progressed where we're just like, if we do something stupid, like don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes with acting, you kind of get in your head because you're not sure what your other partner, if they're on board 100% to like fail with you. But we were both like just ready to fail, and that was the it's different to have a relationship like that because you feel so free and you don't get in your head as much, so you can actually commit to the roles. And that's why I do miss that, and I hope I can have that again in the future. And I don't want to expect it because relationships like that with acting is very rare. So I will forever cherish those times with her. It was really cool.
Now, just overall, I mean, being on a show like this, a show that's made awards history, that's made, that had such an impact on diversity, and
Yeah.
showed, these, was a telenovela turned into a comedy slash dramedy. How has the overall experience of Jane been for you over the past, 3 years, and does it change you as an actor in terms of the way that you approach other roles, having had a role like Michael?
Yeah, it's definitely changed my life. I mean, on the personal side, it's just like, I'm now in like more of the public eye, and it's like that's an interesting adjustment to make, like personally. And also the 3 years of acting and being able to do what you love every single day was an interesting thing as an actor too, because you learn so much. And I like to really challenge myself every day. Like I want to, sometimes you get in your head and you're like, okay, why was I in my head? And then you kind of go through these whole things, and it's like you learn a lot I learn a lot by getting insecure. And that's what this job like brought. It brought like confidence, it brought insecurities, it brought everything. So I got to work through all that stuff, and it's made my confidence in my acting better, I think, just because of all the experience I've had with it. So it obviously I have so much to learn still. It's ridiculous, but at least this experience made me more like confident in what I can do as an actor, I think. I've still got a lot of insecurities though, bro.
Well, has it at all made you, I guess, pickier in the roles that you choose from
Yeah.
here on out? Because I mean, Jenny and the writers gave Michael, which could have been a one-note guy. I mean, he was, he could have just been Gina's boyfriend, or I'm sorry, Jane's boyfriend, or
Mm.
whatnot. They gave him so many layers, though. Like I think the
Yeah.
impact was so great because you were able to kind of elevate him from what he could have been on paper. And so does that kind of have an effect on where you go now in terms of your acting choices?
Yeah, I've noticed that like really following your heart is super important. And it's like I feel like before the show I never really did that. I kind of like did acting work just to get work because I needed money and I didn't want a second job. Like I didn't want to work. I worked at a restaurant for like a year and I had these little kind of jobs, and I was unhappy doing that, and the only thing that really made me happy was acting. So every opportunity I got, I just took. And this show's given me the opportunity to like really like look at what I really want to do in my life with acting. So it's like it's definitely made me more picky with the things I even want to audition for or go for. And I think I have a clear idea with what I want to do with my career going forward. It's going to take some time because of the pickiness thing, but I believe in it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, speaking of taking time, the people that need it most, it seems, are these fans. Michael had such a big impact on so many, especially his death. And we talked about it a little bit at the Emmy event a couple of weeks ago. Does it still surprise you um, the impact that Michael did have and that the death did have? There's some people that you see on Twitter like, I'm not watching Jane anymore because Michael's not on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was surprising. I didn't expect the death thing to be that big of a thing, but yeah, I still get a lot of like tweets and comments on Instagram and stuff, and it's just like it's cool. It's a cool feeling for sure to be a part of something where it had an effect on someone's life or people's life in some way, even if it's like imaginary. It feels cool. It feels cool to be a part of that. Super grateful that I got that opportunity.
Well, the opportunity, especially this year, since you've been so much in the spotlight recently, it has brought you, certain awards buzz. And in a perfect world, you'd be nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a comedy series. And if that were to happen, that would be a perfect.
That'd be great.
And if that had happened, you do have to submit one episode. Is there a particular Michael episode from the 10 that you had that you would submit?
There's maybe the second episode, perhaps. That's the episode where he's like rehabilitating. Is that a word?
Rehabilitating, yeah.
Rehabilitating. Oh, I forgot the A. Okay, rehabilitating. That episode, Brad Silberling directed that one, and I just feel like that was a special. I love Brad Silberling, by the way. He's an amazing director, that guy, and I feel like there was a couple moments that were really important to Michael, like when he realizes that he was going to die and stuff, and like those moments were super important, and they had to be strong. And I feel like because of Brad and Gina, like they really helped me get there, both of them. So yeah, I maybe that one, or maybe even the 10th one when he dies. I'm not sure, but which one do you think is strong? I don't know.
I mean, I'm partial to the 10th one because it's flashbacks, and you die, and Emmy voters are big on flashbacks. I mean, that tends to win Emmys quite a bit. And,
yeah.
And when you die, because what you need for an Emmy episode is impact, range, and kind of what they call huggability. Okay. So who doesn't want to hug a guy that just passed away?
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
I'd probably be partial to that one, but the second one is a good option.
Okay, I'll do the 10th one. I'll submit that. That's awesome.
And we touched on Gina a bit and her impact with you. What about the rest of the cast? Because I know you guys are all super, super close. And you had some awesome scenes with like Jaime and everybody else. I mean,
yeah.
How is that, like, how awesome was that experience just to share? Casts usually aren't as close as I've seen you guys be. You guys are like real friends. Like, how cool was that to have for 3 years?
It was so cool, man. Because it could have been really bad, like stuck with people that you didn't like. I mean, I couldn't, honestly, I had a fear of that going in, like doing a show, and picturing it, because I had to sign like a 5-year contract or something, and I was just like picturing like, what if the show does go for 5 years, and what if everyone just is an asshole? Thank God they weren't, because that could have made my life extremely miserable. But yeah, everyone on that show, and I'm not just saying this because I'm afraid they might watch it, or someone might, you know what I mean? Like, I mean this when I say this, that everyone was so supportive and loving to not only me, but to each other, and even to like guest stars who would come on the show, and to the crew. Like, they were just like very loving. And I honestly feel like that set the tone for the rest of my career. It really made me want to be like that on every project I go to. I want to be able to like welcome people and like, have that kind of love for what I do, and really just show it, and not kind of like be there just to do a good job. You know what I mean? I want to be there to do a good job and to be a good person. And they kind of set the tone for that for me. I feel like it's a super important thing for any actor, by the way, like who's going on a series. Like, make sure that you have that love, because if you don't, like, it's going to be a miserable ride for you. Because it
sounds like your
life. I mean, it's like 9 months of the year. I mean, you gotta have a good tone there. or else you'll be miserable.
Yeah, what is it, like 15, 16-hour days sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine being trapped with 15 hours of life with people you hate? Like, oh my God, that'd cause a spiral of depression for you, like for big time.
Yeah, then maybe you would have been happy being killed off at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, let's get into some fan questions because there were quite a few, as you could imagine. Weeded
Okay.
out all the super depressing ones and angry ones. So,
Yeah, okay.
uh, Ellen wants to know, did you ever think that Jane the Virgin would radically change your life as it has, with your growing fan base, and then also with potential awards buzz and Emmy buzz that you got?
I honestly had no idea at all. It was just I booked a pilot that was shooting in LA, and I was super stoked about that. I was like, I get to do a pilot, like sweet, because that wasn't even for sure a thing. It was just like you do a pilot and it might not even get picked up. I didn't know it was going to be like this at all. Like it's just been crazy. It was very lucky. I think a lot of acting is luck. You being in the right place at the right time. A lot of it, I feel, you know. So yeah, I had no idea.
Lindsay wants to know, what did you think about when you first learned about Michael's demise, and then how was it, or how was it watching that episode for you?
So the first part was, how was it when I found out he was gonna
Yeah,
die?
like what was your reaction to Michael when you found out that Michael was gonna
Yeah.
go?
Well, Jenny told me in her office, like on the middle of the hiatus. No, not in the middle. The very beginning of the hiatus at the end of season 2, and I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen. I just had a feeling because there was a hint in the first episode, or the first season, like the 10th episode, that Michael will love her forever. That thing, until his dying breath. That's what it was. And I was like, ooh, that doesn't sound too good. So I kind of like prepared myself for this moment. But when I sat down with Jenny in her office, it was just me and her, and she told me this. I kind of was like, okay, like I knew this was going to happen, but it kind of hit me pretty deep. I was just like, whoa, like, holy shit, really? Wow. And it was just like, it was a couple like silence and just like, wow, really? Like I was just trying to process it. And it was a strange feeling for sure. But also I knew in my heart that it was going to be good television. Like, it would do something to somebody, like affect somebody in some way. So that then I kind of got excited. I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, all right. So yeah, it was an interesting emotions going on that day. Yeah.
And then I guess this is from Anu. She wants to know, what was your favorite scene to shoot with Gina? Could you pick one?
Oh God, no, I can't. There were so many scenes. The wedding scene was really great at the end of season 2. That was a special kind of thing. Just because I knew it was a big moment for both of our characters and also a big moment for the show. So I feel like we were both just like ready to do that, like to live in that world when it was rolling. You know what I mean? It was just a cool experience, and it was set up really well. Like we had like all these extras, and it was a real church and stuff. So it was a cool thing. I liked that scene a lot. Yeah.
And then Elliot Carter wants to know, what are you working on now? Is there anything?
Well, I've been writing for the last 6 months, and I wrote 5 episodes of this show that I want to get developed. And right now I'm like sending it out, and people are, reading it right now. So I just sent it out like 5 days ago because it took me 6 months to write all 5 episodes. But I want to do like a mini series, like a 10-episode thing. That's my goal. And I also might be doing a film in June, and that's what's going on. Yeah.
And then last question. Fariza wants to know, did playing the role of Michael, change the way that you perceive love or any other part of you?
Yeah. I feel like Michael is a super like loving guy, and seeing how he, treats the love of his life is just like really inspiring to just be there for somebody and be selfless. Obviously at the beginning, Michael had like selfish tendencies, but he realized that later on, and like just the growth of his character was inspiring to like grow. Yeah. So I definitely feel like that. I feel love is very important. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Oh, by the way, that show that I'm writing is actually about an unemployed actor. So I have a lot of reality. I bring a lot of reality.
Well, looking forward to it and hope it gets picked up.
Thanks, man.
That's what we've got. So I just first of all want to congratulate you on creating such an impactful character. I mean, it was
thank you.
It was great, and so awesome to see. And of course, everybody misses Michael still, and probably always will.
Thank you, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
And then congrats on what you've done, what you're gonna do, and hopefully on the next time we chat, maybe you'll have some awards stuff right before your name and be nominated. That would be pretty cool. But thanks,
come true for sure.
So thanks for taking the time to chat with me today, and I hope to chat with you on your next project.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Let's grab coffee soon.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, bye everyone watching.